Hey everybody, it's me Stacy here at Scrapbooking Made Simple, scrapbookingmadesimple.com, and welcome to today's Make It Monday event featuring Memory Box. Yep, I've got Memory Box for you today, and holy smokes, artichokes. Okay, the pricing is stunning. It's really good. Okay, for those of you who are joining me for the first time, hey, I'm Stacy. I'm the owner of Scrapbooking Made Simple. Welcome to our Make It Monday event. And if you're joining me during the live chat, which is 6 p.m. sunny California time, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, hello, there's a live chat going on this way if you're on a desktop or a laptop, and maybe below us if you are on a different device. Say hey, say I can't believe the prices, say oh my goodness gracious, I couldn't pass these deals up, or tell us where you're from and this is the first time you're joining us. Now today is a little bit different because I don't have the same amount of product all the way across the boards. Normally I bring you one bundle, just one bundle, and it usually has a price of between $80 and $100, and we retail it for $19.99. This time I have 3 little bundles, itty bitty bundles, because I don't have the same quantity across the board where I could wrap them all up and put them all together and share them with you that way. But the prices aren't $19.99 per bundle. They're $7.99 and $9.99. That's it. 2 of the bundles are at $7.99 and 1 bundle is at $9.99, but the retail value is over $136. Yep. I think or maybe it's $135.99 or right at $136, but not for you. If you were to get all 3 bundles, I think you're talking close to $25.99 for $136 worth of product. That's a wahoo chew. Now, how do you take advantage of the sale? Well, this is online only. Online only. Local SMS peeps. You can't come into the store. We are so limited on quantity of what we have. And it's, like I said, it's not across the board. So if you are local, please shop online and just click that you want to pick it up in the retail store. That's all you have to do. And that way we ensure that the inventory stays as accurate as possible. I am going to walk you through all 3 bundles. I've got wonderful samples to share with you at the end, and I'm going to show you how I would use one of these bundles if I were doing it. Just the process I have of how I would approach it. Now, you may do it completely different, and that's okay. However you do it, however it makes your heart happy, that's what's most important. I also want to remind you, the winter warehouse sale here at Scrapbooking Made Simple starts this Saturday with a YouTube. I am doing Simply Defined, Simply Refined, and Simply Botanical this Saturday. And this will be the last time you see this product. This is it. It's gotta go. We've got it out there for such unbelievable pricing, up to 90% off and sometimes more. But when does it start? Well, the warehouse sale starts on Saturday, 8 a.m. sunny California time, 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern, and 4 p.m. in the United Kingdom. And then every Monday in December, instead of doing a Make It Monday like we normally do where I bring you one bundle, I will be announcing the next manufacturers to join into the warehouse sale. So every Monday there'll be new product added into the warehouse sale. Every Monday. Keep in mind that if something sells out, we do not reorder. We have no way of getting any more. So if you see it, if you love it, get it when you see it. But every Monday through December, we'll be adding in new manufacturers for you. So today it is about Memory Box. I am going to tilt down. Just quickly, look at how flippin' cute is this. I kind of said as a joke, wouldn't it be funny to have the big mouth, you know, the big mouth bass who you saw those commercials and he sings Christmas carols. So two of the girls took it to heart, and look at, this is on her SMS's girls, Gail's, her contribution to the big mouth bass. I just remember my brother-in-law Ken getting one for Christmas, and there was a commercial about with the big mouth bass, and it's mounted on the wood plank, and its little head and tail flop back and forth as it sings you Christmas carols. So I have another one for you. You'll have to see. They're just darling. But I'm going to tilt down. The product is available right now at scrapbookingmadesimple.com. Look under the Make It Monday category, and you can find that under the category list. You can find it as one of the squares that we have. It'll say Make It Monday. I think it's in pink. Click that. Or the rotating banners, there'll be one that says Make It Monday, and you can click that as well. So I don't know how you pass this stuff up, even if you've already got them. They're at such a great price to have duplicates. It's well worth it for the kind of pricing we're being able to offer you. I'm really excited about them. Let me tilt on down and let's get started for today. It's good to see everybody. Down we go. Okay, so let me tilt on in and zoom on in and see what we've got. All right, so I have got, let's see. There we go, freshwater fish, ocean fish, and curling waves. All right, so I've got 3 separate bundles for you. Each bundle is 2 SKUs. The first one is our freshwater fish bundle. It is a 3D embossing folder, a die set, and a stencil set, all in one. Retails for $43. Your price is $7.99. So that is more than 80% off. Wahoo Kachoo! So we've got the 3D embossing folder. The dies are included. 3D embossing folder, the dies are included. And then the stencil. So you can stencil your fish and have them look amazing. So 3D embossing folder, dies, all in one package, and then the coordinating stencil in the second. Retails for $43. Your price is $7.99, and this is the freshwater fish. Then I have the oceanic or the ocean fish. And again, I have got the dies, the stencil, and the 3D embossing folder. This one retails for $50, and your price is $9.99. So 80% off. Even if you're not sure when you'll use these, trust me, for this price, to have these in your crafty stash when you find you do need them is amazing. So here it's even more dies and more embossing. Look at all the darling, look at the fish. Oh, I have that fish here. He's so, like literally at the store. He's so cute. Aren't they darling? Nemo, yes, hello Nemo. So you've got the angelfish, you've got the embossing folder, then all the dies to cut it out. That's a $28 value. This, I think, retails for $28.99, close to it, $27.99, $28. But then you have the layering stencil, and this is a 3 layering stencil. You could use the stencil all by itself to make these darling fish. You could use the stencil and the dies to make this darling fish. You could use the stencil, the dies, and the embossing folders. You could use the embossing folder and the dies by themselves. There are so many different options. depending on what you are doing. So many different options. So again, with the freshwater fish, you could use the freshwater fish embossing folder all by itself. You could use the freshwater embossing folder and the die cuts together. You could use the die cuts and the stencils together. You could use the embossing folder and the stencils together. You could use the stencils by themselves. So many opportunities for your $7.99 or your $9.99. And the fish they're not the same. There's no overlapping. So no reason to not have them all. So here, this is $50 for $9.99. I know, it's an amazing value. Truly it is. Let's see, want to make sure I put them back in the right place. So that one goes there, that one goes there. The last one I have is again $43 value for $7.99. And it is the curling waves. So you have the dies, you have the embossing folder, and you have the coordinating stencil. The embossing, I almost think these look like wind as well. I would love to use them as wind along with curling waves. So you can do the embossing folder by itself, you can use the dies by itself, you can use the dies in the embossing folder by itself. You can use the stencil with the embossing folder. You can use the stencils with the dies. You can use the stencils by himself, or you can use the stencils, dies, and the embossing folders. Each of these sets let you do all of those different things, all the different combinations. And this one, again, $43 is the value, and your price is $7.99. It's really, really good. So the 3 bundles that I have for you are the curling waves, retail $43, on sale for $7.99. The ocean fish retails for $50, on sale for $10. And the freshwater fish, regularly $43, on sale for $7.99. So you've got $25, is that it? $16.10, so $26 to get you all of this, which would retail for about $136. Now, the reason I couldn't put them all into one big bundle is because we only have so many of each. I don't have the same across the boards. I have less of some and more of others. So it's kind of a first come, first serve, and it really is such an amazing value. Now I'm going to play with the curling waves. I'm going to play with the curling waves today, and I'm going to show you kind of how I would do them if I were creating, or when I create, how I would start them, just so you can see how it is what my process is. Your process could be completely different and you go about it in a different way. I'm just giving you my idea of how I would do them, so that if you've never played with stencils and embossing folders, and you have the opportunity. And for today, I am going to be using all 3 of them. But again, I could do just the stencils all by themselves. I could do just the dies. Now the dies come clipped together, and you have to decide if you're going to break them apart and have them individual, or if you're going to leave them as a whole unit. Today I'm leaving mine as a whole unit. So I've got the dies, the stencils, and the embossing folder. Could just use the embossing folder on its own. So many, and again, I think they look like wind. So I would use them as wind as well, along with the curling waves. So I'm going to get started, and I'm just going to keep it easy peasy, showing you how I would marry all 3 of these together as easy as I can. So I'm going to start with some, let's put these right here. I'm going to start with some white paper. And I'm going to create a background. So I am just going to take some blending brushes and some of my inks. I've got my Caribbean blue. So these are my Crafter's Companion blending brushes. I've got my Jacquard Caribbean blue ink. And I'm just gonna come in here and I'm just gonna add some color. Now I'm just trying to make a nice background. I'm not worried about whether I've got it all in the same hue or the same tone or the same saturation. I'm just trying to add some color to kind of give me a background, the starting of a background. So there, I've done a little bit of my Caribbean blue. Now maybe I come in with some blue raspberry. I don't know, I'm just adding lots of blues. And right over the top of my Caribbean blue. Okay, good enough. And then maybe I come in with some blue jay. So I always start with my lightest color. And I'm just trying to give myself some place to start. Maybe a little bit more blue raspberry. Just kind of tapped in there. All right. So I've got a pretty blue background. Some darker, some lighter. And that's where I'm going to start. Then I'm going to take my dies. And I've got my dies right here. And I'm going to cut all of my dies out at one time. So that's why I've left them in the configuration. I haven't taken little snippers and snip them out because I'm just going to cut them all at the same time. So bring over my Big Shot machine, and to do this die cut I need my base platform, I need my solo shim or my A shim, I need a cut plate, I need my paper, and a do not cut plate. Now these are pretty easy dies. They're not intricate. They're an open frame die, which means there's no extra die metal in the centers of them. So these are going to cut pretty darn simple. Really a one run. Now I know all that creaking and cracking sounded nervous, but that's the sound of die cutting happening. Pull it out, put my die on my gotcha tool just because makes it easier. My gotcha tool holds all my dies. Bam, and it will hold lots of dies at one time. Bam, keep it on my making space so I don't lose anything. And all of my little, see now I wouldn't throw this away. I think I can make something. I do. I think I could make something out of this. Don't know what, but I think I could. So I've got all my little pieces. And I've already colored them a color blue to get them started, right? Now I want to use the stencil. So I am going to bring over my stencil and stamp tool from Sizzix. And because I'm using it as a stencil tool, I don't need the lid. The lid is when I want to use a stamp positioner, and it just comes right out, bing, bang, boom, right out, easy peasy, mac and cheesy. I'm going to be using this as the stenciling tool. So I need my little green alignment tool, and this green alignment tool, these holes here correspond to the hinge in the, or it's not even a hinge, the area that holds your lid in place. These just fit right in. And what it does is it allows you to move your alignment tool anywhere you want on your paper because you've got all of these holes to put them in. So I've got that there. I've got my sticky grid down. It comes with a piece of sticky grid, your stencil and stamp tool. And the sticky grid is what holds your paper in place. Doesn't fall, doesn't move, but when you need to pull it up, bing, bang, boom, there you go. Holds your paper in place. But when you need to pull it up, there you go, bing, bang, boom. Now this is a double layer stencil. And I suppose I could use one layer or two, up to me. If I was doing this on white paper, I might use both layers. So one layer is a little bit fatter. The design is a little bit more chunky than the other layer. The design that's a little bit more chunky is always your bottom layer. And then the narrower design is what lays on top of this. Now I am using my Sizzix tool, but these are not Sizzix stencils. So they don't have the two little holes at the top for me to put it in my alignment tool. See, my alignment tool has these little nibs right here on either side. And Stencils by Sizzix has holes in the stencils already, so all you have to do is pop them in, pop and go. But because these are memory box stencils, I need to use converters. Sizzix wants this tool to play with everybody's stencils, so they came up with converters, and they're sold 10 to a pack. This is what they look like. Now, this isn't how they come. I used a piece of my woodware blending mat because that blending mat is this size. I just cut it in half and I made a stencil converter holder. The stencil converters look like this when you get them. You get 10 of them just like this. And there is a piece of adhesive strip on one side, and to make them work, you take off the adhesive strip and you put it, let's get one of my, I'll get there. Nope. There it is. I just needed to line it up to see which side is front. You take your converter and you put it right on your stencil. Just like that. And instantaneously, you now have the little holes that you need for your stencil to work. Now, because this is a double layer stencil, now I need to line up this one. So I lay it right over the top. I grab another converter, take off my little liner to expose my sticky, and I just put it right down on top, assuring that both of my stencils are going to line up. Now, are the converters reusable? Yes, they are. There we go. The converters are absolutely reusable. When I'm done with it, I just pop it off, and put it onto my, because I've exposed the sticky, put it onto my homemade converter storage sheet. And then the next time I want to use it, I just take it right off. Will the adhesive eventually stop sticking? Yes, it will eventually stop sticking. So then you're going to grab a piece of Stacy tape. Hello. And you're going to put that right over the top of the adhesive that's there, and instantaneously it's sticky again. So the converters are super handy to have because it allows you to use anybody's stencils with your stencil and stamp tool. There we go. Just had to realign it. Pop it down, and then go. And then up. Now the beautiful thing about this tool is it lets you see what you've done. So if I put a piece of paper under it, and then I come in and I add some color. It will let me see what I've done without having to realign my stencil, which means I can lift this up, look, see what I've got, put it back down, and keep going. So where I did mine as a whole piece, I just did a whole bunch of blue and then die cut out. You could stencil first. Pop it off. Put my smaller one, because that's going to add a little bit of that detail. And then come in here and maybe we use a little bit of my teal deal. And add a little bit of color. You know what, for these, because they're individual, I think I'm going to use finger daubers and make it a little easier, because I'm not trying to color the whole thing. Maybe I use a finger dauber. So I've got a little bit of teal going on. And then maybe I come back with a little bit of blue jay, a little bit darker blue. And the finger daubers are a little bit easier to use so that you don't ink up absolutely everything. And let's use maybe a little bit of my blue jay. So there's multiple ways of doing this. And where I made my paper first and die cut first, that was easy peasy. This time I'm stenciling first. And I can lift up and I can see what I've got. So now I've got all my waves with some multiple colors going on. And then I could die cut. Now the thing about this is that the dies don't go in the same direction as the stencil. So you would have to break these up and individually place them if you wanted to do it this way. That's why I did my overall paper first and then die cut. I just did an overall paper and then die cut. This, you would have to see to get that one to fit right there. It doesn't fit any of the others. And I like them this way. To me, this is just easier and handier to keep them all as one unit. But I could just use the stencils. I could mask out, and like I said, I could have this be wind if I had a hot air balloon going or a kite going, but it also makes for really great waves, which is what the intended use is. Now I've done all my die cutting because I did that one piece of paper, and I've got them all here. So I technically don't need to use this big one, the larger stencil, because I've already done it. I've already done all my coloring. I did it when I created my overall paper, but I do want to use my detail. And for that, you do have to find where your stencils go. So I try to line them up with the little curly, where the wave is where I try to line them up here. So, nope, it's gonna be this one. I think it's gonna be this one. So put that little center in there and scooch it down a little bit and just kind of line it up to the best of your ability. That looks good enough. Okay, one there. Now this guy I think goes here. So I'm just gonna put him in there, and I'm just gonna find where that the little curly piece goes. And that one's done. And this guy, I think this guy goes here. Oh no, he can't go there because the curly piece doesn't go in the same direction. Nope, so he must go someplace else. So it must be this guy that goes there. Yep. See, and I'm just trying to find that little center piece. So this guy, I'm gonna say this one goes here. So I'm gonna see that little center piece right there. I'm gonna line it up with the little opening right there, just to help it a little bit easier to line them up. Just stick that little piece right there. And I think that looks good. And that's all I'm gonna do, is just kind of line them up. Ooh, my guess is this one goes here. And I don't know that even if you had them in the wrong area, that it would make much of a difference, because they're waves. That one looks pretty okay there. And well, this one definitely can't. So I thought maybe this one went here, but it doesn't line up. It's going in the wrong direction. So it must go either here or here. That looks good to me. And that looks good to me, and I'm just going for it. It's only paper, and they're waves. Maybe this one, no, it has to go. This one has to go here. Okay, so that just leaves my last one here. Bam, done. So now I've got them down. Now I can go in and add more color. So again, using my finger dauber, just because it's easier. Go in and add more color individually. If I get ink on my sticky grid, is that going to be a problem? No, it's not. My sticky grid will still sticky. So I've added a little bit of teal to each of them. And now let's add a little bit of darker blue. And again, the daubers, so we're gonna put the daubers on sale. I've got a 20 pack of Simply Refined, and I have very, very few of these left, but we'll put both of them on sale. We always have the best prices on them, always. But they're not reorderable, so we're just gonna let them go. And I'm just blending my Blue Jay into my teal, just to make a really nice blend. And remember, it was pretty much my Caribbean blue that I started with. All right, so now I've got my blends, and I can see if I like them just by lifting up. And now you can see the detail. And if I'm not crazy about them, all I have to do is put it back down. It lines itself up again because it is an alignment tool. And I could go in and I could add some more. I could add maybe a little bit more of my Blue Jay if I wanted. Just making some waves. Gosh, I wonder if I have my Admiral Blue. Let's see. Admiral Blue. Ooh, that's not Admiral Blue. There we go. Admiral Blue, much darker. Much darker. Add a little Admiral Blue to some of them. And then I can lift them up and look at them and see if I'm happy. Oh, I actually like it with the Admiral Blue on it. And then when I'm done, then I pull them up. But do you see how easy it is to stencil when you have an alignment tool that lets you lift up and put back down and lift up and put back down? It's amazing. Really makes everything so simple when you are using stencils, even single layer stencils. It makes it so easy. So now that I've got them all stenciled and I'm happy, let's put my lids back on my inks because I'm notorious for putting my hands in them. Now I can pull them off and I could be done. They pull right up. But let's not forget each set, whether it be the fish, the ocean fish, the freshwater fish, they all come with a 3D stencil or a 3D embossing folder as well. So I've got these. Now I grab my lid. I put my alignment tool up on these top two nibs up here because that's its little storage unit. I put my lid on and I'm ready to use it the next time. It's ready to go. Isn't that lid simple? You don't have to click it in or anything. It just in and out. It's ingenious. I love the lid. Love the whole tool. But so now I've got my waves ready to go. My stencils I can take off. My converters. I can put my converters on my makeshift converter storage unit. And you get 10 converters per set for, I think, $5.99. And I just store them here, and then next time I need them, I'm going to pull it right off. I can take a baby wipe to wipe down my stencils because I use the Stacy Park Jacquard ink, which is water soluble. And now I'm ready to use my embossing folder. And here's my embossing folder. Now, it doesn't have an index, which it doesn't say memory box. So you don't know which side is up and which side is down, which is face up and which is face down. With this embossing folder, the side that is raised, that's the back side. And the side that is indented is your top side. So I would take a Post-it note or something, a Sharpie, and I would just write top and bottom. Just so you know. You don't want to do all of this and then put them in the wrong way. So top has the depressed side, the side that is indented, and the bottom has the side that is raised up. Now I'm going to put these in here. I'm going to open it up and I'm going to find their home. So here's one. On the top, with the top side, I'm going to have it facing down. That way when I close it up, my color should be facing the top side. So I'm just going to put them down. There's my top side. And I'm going to lay them in there. And because it's indented, they kind of just sit in there kind of nice-like. See, this one is here. And this one is there, and this one is there. They just kind of fit in nice because it's recessed in, so they just kind of sit real nice in there. That one's there. That one there, that one, nope, that one doesn't, is it? And then this one, I don't know, maybe that one is here. Nope, doesn't go there. This one's there. That one's there. And this one is here. So the reason I'm doing the embossing last is because I have inked and I've die cut. And every time I ink and every time I die cut, I'm pushing down on the paper, flattening it. So by doing the embossing, the very last thing I do, whether I stencil first and then die cut all these out, or I make just a background, die cut them, and then stencil, the very last thing I'm going to do is the embossing. And to keep them in place, I'm just going to take a little bit of Sizzix Maker's tape. And just put a piece down on each side, just to hold them relatively in place. Ooh, I think I'm almost out of that roll. Now, Sizzix Maker's tape, it's like a fabulous Post-it note that doesn't hurt your paper, holds your die is in place. Close it up, and now I can see that this is my top and my color is coming through. If this was my top and I saw white, I'd be like, oh no, they're backwards. Nope, need to flip them around. Your top should show your color. That way, the wave action that in 3D embossing that they've built into this is going to lift up. If I emboss them here, instead it would be debossed. So always remember, you want to see that color coming through your top, and the top of your memory box embossing folder is the side that is recessed in. The bottom is the side that is bumpy, pops out. Your top is the recessed in. Now all I have to do is send them through my Big Shot machine. And the sandwich to do this for a 3D embossing folder is here. I'm gonna do my base plate, I'm gonna do my 3D embossing folder, and a cut plate or a do not cut plate, really doesn't make a difference. And I'm going to send it on through. Roll, roll, roll. Back, back, back. Now, if I had tried to sandwich it between 2 cut plates, because that's typically what we do, and I tried to send it through, my machine is going to say, no. It's going to say, absolutely not, this is too thick. See? No. My machine won't take it. It's telling you there's something wrong. Or if I tried to leave my solo shim on and put this down and then put my top plate on, forgetting that my solo shim is there. Also, no, it isn't going to take it. It's going to say, no way, Jose, not for me, not this way, nope. So once I take that platform off and I do just the base plate, just my embossing folder, and the sandwich is right here on your base plate. It literally is right there on your base plate showing it to you. All of a sudden, it rolls through. Yay, perfect. Well, I already did roll it through. I didn't have to roll it through again, but then I pull them out. And this is where all that 3D goodness, can you see how deep it is? See that 3D? Look at that. You know 3D is good if it's deep enough to cast its own shadow. Pull up my maker's tape. And now I've got a beautiful 3D embossing on all of my waves. And it's not smushed because I'm not going back and die cutting now. And I'm not inking over the top. I've done all of that work where I would be pressing down on my paper. Now I've got them ready to go. They're inked, they're die cut, and they are embossed. And my maker's tape does not harm my paper. And it just adds that little pop of dimension that taking that few extra steps makes all the difference in the world, because it does. It adds just that little pop of dimension. So if, let's say I grab, let me zoom on in, and let's say I grab my flat ones, there's such a difference having that pop of dimension as opposed to just flat. When you put these down, it's got a little something to them, and they are so pretty, and it's all done with that 3D embossing, adding that wave of detail that you can't get from just flat paper. But you don't have to worry, because each set that you're getting has the embossing folder, the stencil, and the dies. So I wanted to show you how I do it, and everybody's different. You may want to go ahead and do your stenciling first, snip your dies, and then you would just line up your dies and tape them down. But because of the way these are, that these are waves, for me, it was just easier to make a whole background of blue, couple different blues, cut everything out at once, and then go in and stencil and then 3D emboss. And you can do it however it gets the job done, whatever makes your heart happy. But then these just are so pretty. Wait till you, well, I'm going to show you the samples. So, from Memory Box, as part of Make It Monday, I have the $7.99 freshwater fish, where you get the 3 fish, you get the 3 dies, 3 fish embossing folder, the 3 dies, and the double layer stencil to add all the detail. You can use the stencil by itself, you can use the stencil with the dies, you can use the dies with the embossing folder, you can use the stencils with the embossing folder, you can use the embossing folder by themselves and the dies by themselves. So many different ways to use product that retailed for $43 for $7.99. Then we had the saltwater or the ocean fish. Again, all the dies. Here's the embossing folder. All the dies to go with them. So you can use the dies by themselves. You can use the embossing folder, the dies with the embossing folder, the dies with the stencil with the embossing folder, the stencil by itself, or all of them together. And this one retails, because this is a 3-layer stencil, retails for $50 for $9.99. And then the last one is the waves, which is what I use today. And this is probably the most, I don't know, it's just so universal. There's so much you can do with this one. There's so many. I see cauldrons. I see smoke coming off of your chimney. There's so many things I see with this. And again, the dies, the 3D embossing folder and the dies, and then the coordinating stencil, all for $7.99. They're such a great value. They will make such an amazing gift, because this really was, it is $43 if you try to go out and buy it. In fact, some of it you might not even be able to get. You'd have to, I don't even know. But $43, nobody needs to know you spent $7.99 for it. And it's a really inexpensive way to add some really great product to your crafty stash, where you're like, I'm not sure I would need fish a lot, but for this price, it's okay to add them to your stash and use them when you need them. So, isn't he cute? Right? Isn't he cute? Look at him. Honorary SMS Gail made them. Just because when I saw them, I'm like, my brother-in-law had this, and it was one of those gifts, like a chia pet, and at Christmas time, and his head and his tail came forward and he would sing Christmas carols. I remember the commercial. My brother-in-law Ken got it. Look at this with the gold. And there's Nemo. That's the fish. That's one of the ocean fish. Look at how pretty. This would make just a beautiful background, taking the gold and putting them all over to make a stunning background. I'm telling you, the wave one is a not to be missed. It's got so many options to it. And here, another with the fish, with the ocean fish. Pretty, right? So pretty. This one's by Mary. Well, this one was also by honorary SMS girl Mary. I'm loving the gold. Now that I see the gold, I see so many different things I could do with that. And here, this one is by honorary SMS girl Gail. She just used the embossing folder. What a great guy card. Little bit of luster wax over the top of it. Just a little bit. She just used the embossing folder. What a great guy card. And here's Mary's version of the fish. At Christmas time, singing his jingles. They make my heart so happy. Honorary SMS girl Mary. And here we have Mary again. Look at how pretty. Gosh, I don't know if it goes, no, it goes this way. Yeah, this way. Look at the details she got on the fish because it has the embossing folder and the stencil and the die cut. Look at the details she got on them. Love, love, love. Oh, and this one, okay, see, look at. So honorary SMS girl Gail, I bet this is Gail. She used the embossing folder just the way it is. And then she went in and she stenciled over the top. Yep, she just embossed the embossing folder just the way it was, and then she used the stencil to add. So the waves are here, there, everywhere, bloop, bloop, bloop. I love it. And look at the detail on the fish. Crazy great detail. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And then I will say I am very thankful. I'm thankful for Make It Mondays. It keeps crafting affordable. It allows many, many of you to take advantage of having something new and exciting in your crafty stash without breaking your budget. Look at that fish. This is by Mary. Wow, he's good. So, Make It Monday featuring Memory Box. Not one bundle, but 3 smaller bundles. $7.99, not $43. $9.99, not $50. And then the waves, $43 for $7.99. They are a value. We all know Memory Box makes amazing product. Amazing product, quality product, and at these prices, well, you get 2 sets, and that way you can do twice as much at the same time. Because when they're gone, they're gone. That's just the way Make It Mondays are. Memory Box doesn't have any more of these left. We bought all we could. So. It is me, Stacy, Scrapbooking Made Simple, scrapbookingmadesimple.com, saying, hey, Make It Monday for Memory Box. Wahoo Kachoo. I hope you loved what you saw. I hope you saw how I do my process and that there is more than one way to get it done, whether you stencil, die cut, emboss, or make a background, die cut, stencil, emboss. However, the very last thing I would do would be the embossing, especially if you are going to be stenciling and die cutting, because you're going to be pushing pressure down on that paper and you're going to take away all of that fabulous 3D goodness that they have done with that embossing folder, no matter what set you get. So the next time I see you will be tomorrow for Take 2 Tuesday at 6 p.m. here, sunny California time. That would be 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. And that is where I take product from the Stacy Park collection, whether it be some jacquard or Sizzix or couture creations, and we play and have a really fun make. So that, again, 6 p.m. sunny California time, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. Tomorrow is Take Two Tuesday. All right, you guys, it's all available online only. Online only. So all available right now, and it will be shipping immediately if you have a qualifying order. All right, you guys, I'll see you later. Have a great day. I'm Stacy. This is Scrapbooking Made Simple. Bye, everybody.